Hello, YouTube. Let's try Facebook. Hello, Facebook. All right, are we here? Good morning. Happy start to a new week. Well, after the holiday weekend. Let's go. LFG. So, for a second there, we're just getting set up. This is pretty new to me. All this multi-streaming and all that. So every once in a while, I'm going to be checking in to make sure I'm doing it right. Almost forgot to do my screen recording. Let's do the screen recording. So let's paint. How are we all doing? If you're in the chat, I'd love to get some chatter going on any of these new platforms. So, for instance, we're now live on Facebook. We're supposed to be going live. Are we live? I don't know. Complete post details. Are we live? I don't know. Anyone out there? Anyone? Oh boy. We did. Oh well, I think we're live on Facebook. So we had a good first day. This is a day's worth of painting. We are going to do day 2 now. Hopefully get 3 hours in. And let us see. Let us see what our, for some reason I can't seem to get my darn Facebook going. But maybe we are going. I mean, maybe we don't really care, but we got a lot of things going on the CPU here. We're going to try to keep it all in the air. So there's there is YouTube again. Hello, YouTube, if you're joining for the first time. And oh boy. Okay, so it looks like we've got it, at least somewhat. Okay. Okay. Now, I'm supposed to be live on my Facebook. We'll get all this technical stuff sorted out. All these doodads. And we are also just going to make sure that we got a YouTube link going. Yes. Yes. And then we have we got our old faithful. Okay, so here we are. Been 5 minutes yapping. Let's get cracking. Okay. Now, what does that mean? So, first, I would say we should zoom out and take a look at our big picture here. I like what we're doing here and going for the head first. Let's just dive in head first and we'll see what do we think is kind of lagging behind. What haven't I addressed the most? What have I neglected the most? We're gonna keep the head going and just get a finished statement on the head today. And yeah. I mean, it's kind of anyone's guess as to where we start today. Anybody want to jump in and let me know where on the head you think I should start? Maybe we'll do the part that's the least fun in some ways. You know? And what is that? I don't know. Let's not worry too much about fun. Oh boy. Let's worry about getting some paint down. Okay? So, first step, we took our look and we see that there's a lot of stuff that's fallen behind. And then the second step would be let's find out what's what. Okay. Let's find a sort of general value here that's going to look like our ear. I think maybe something like this. We just keep the party going in the ear. Okay, we'll take one swoop. Okay, and then it looks like we could use a little bit of highlight here. Okay, I don't know. Maybe that's gonna cut it. Maybe it's not. But as always, we put something down. Okay, let's make life a little more easy on ourselves for now, and we'll find a highlight. And then we'll plop that in. So look at our nice, this sort of, whatever this part of the anatomy is. Any anatomy experts out there want to help me out? I'm not versed in anatomy at all. But I think I'm going to be learning about it because I have a child who's interested in the parts of the systems of the body. So we've got that watching on YouTube and other places over our morning Cheerios. Okay, let's find out where this little halftone lives. Okay. Let's find out where this... So what's going on here is there's kind of a middle value that swoops down from where we've had all this. And in a way, the gray value kind of works for now, but let's try and get it a little more accurate than that. At least in terms of color. Okay. We're going to keep going. Another value here. Now, I'm a real noob to this digital painting stuff, so you're gonna see me leaning on my software a little bit more than I'd like to eventually figure out. Trust myself on the color mixing the way I might if I were painting with oil paint. But for now, I'm just kind of learning the ropes. So I can talk more about that later. A big part of my process here when I start painting is just to become comfortable and just relax and say, okay, there's a lot to do, but let's do one thing at a time. Not easy. Not easy. Okay. Let's find our halftone there. There's another. We want to pull halftone around the ear. I didn't love that, but whatever. Now, interesting fun fact here is I'd like to get, do you see this kind of accent here where his hairline, where his haircut sort of pops up there? Let's see. We're going to just find that accent on our painting. I'd say it's about there. And then right next to it, there's a bit of our middle value of the flesh tone. This is kind of a highlighty bit. Okay. Yeah, something like that. Now, really we're just, this is kind of having fun. We're just painting by numbers. We know we can look back and forth between our photo, reference photo, and our subject, and just attempt to lay in our big shapes here. Luckily, we have some indication of where our I don't know. The question is, where is, you see that sideburn? widths for me, meaning widths are hard to figure out for me. But you can always do a plumb line, a sort of drop a line down. So where does the right edge of this sideburn fall in relation to the highlight? So we can take this. I don't know exactly where, but generally speaking, we can find it. Okay, let's get a nice sort of, like what I like to do when I'm picking a color is I squint and I see about what value it is. It doesn't really matter what the color is. We're just sort of trying to choose a value that's gonna do justice to that area of what we're working on. Okay, and just pay attention and you'll probably find something that'll work. Now I just dragged the highlight back up into the halftone, which I didn't want to do, but I did it. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Ba-da-da-da-da. At the moment, my follow for follow, Italian comedian. You show me yours. Italian comedian, are you an Italian comedian? Thanks for stopping by. What brings you here? Follow for follow? Sorry, I should say to the other platforms here that sorry for the I'm streaming on Twitch, and I have a new arrival in my chat room, Italian comedian who said, "Hey, follow for follow." I'm open to it, but I can't really be sure of what I'm getting myself into until after I'm done streaming. So give me a follow, and then I'll be able to find you after the stream, and then I can, if I don't give you a follow for follow, excuse me, then you can unfollow me if you don't like following my stream. I also don't want to neglect anybody at YouTube who might be chatting. Is there anybody out there? Can you chat? You will still be my first chat ever on YouTube if you chat right now. No pressure, but I'm just saying, if you chat, you will be my first live chat ever. That would be cool. All right, how about my Facebook? Am I still posting over there? Yeah, I guess. I can't tell. Share to story? I don't know. Well, all right, let's move on. So look, if we squint, there's a lot happening here. There's this nice sort of pillow of highlight, or sort of relative highlight there. And I think we want to bring that in and then find sort of a value there. So you can see the top half. I mean, I'm learning about a lot of this stuff, so I'll just say what it is. The top half of this circle is where my eyedropper is. So I'm sort of looking for a bait. I can't just drop it anywhere because look at how quickly it could change. Like if I float over a mole, like that's the wrong color. So I want to find an area that's like, by flicking my eye back and forth, I sort of see, well, look, here's like a shadow. Okay. A dark, warm shadow there. Not a shadow, a mid-tone. And then I'll plop it in. And then it's just, we do that over and over. Okay, look at this nice cool gray. Okay, we'll plop that in. Make sure we have our value. Okay. Not sure if that was exactly what we want to do, but we did it. Italian comedian, tell us more. What do you get up to? Do you stream comedy on Twitch? That's cool. If so. Okay. For what it's worth, I didn't ever see a live comedy show until I was in my mid-30s. It was about 10 years ago. And I saw perhaps the now infamous Louis C.K. in Chicago. And I learned that night that, I was so naive. I thought that comedians generally were like just going off the cuff. But I learned that that's not true at all. Most of them have like a tightly wound script, even right down to like the number of seconds they pause between. Italian comedian, I am learning. I speak some Italian because I actually lived in Italy for far longer than I care to admit, based on how bad my Italian is. But I am now studying Italian because I'd like to, my wife and son are of Italian heritage, and we kind of love Italy like everyone else, but it would be fun to be able to speak better Italian. And so we'll keep trying. Keep trying. All right. I don't know if you see what I see here, but I'm starting to see the Rodney Dangerfield is coming back. He's back. So let's zoom out. Okay. For you, that's really zoomed out. For me, that's about where I should be. But on your phone or PC or whatever, that's going to look super zoomed out. So, whatever. That's for whatever that's worth. We're gonna grab a. So look at this. This is kind of interesting half-tonal stuff. Like there's obviously a half tone here. Let me zoom in again. there's obviously a halftone here, and there's like a highlight here, and then it becomes a halftone again. Excuse me. When I say highlight, halftone, it's relative to whatever it's near. It's obviously it's not a highlight, but it's relatively speaking, it's a light. So and so what we want to do is get the sort of rhythm there where it goes like half tone. And if you squint, the rule of thumb is basically squint, and when I have my eyes open and I'm staring, I can see this line. I can see it very well. I can see this line very well. But if I squint, it's a little more ambiguous. But you get to see a little bit better where the shapes, how the shapes flow, and you don't get caught up or bogged down in the kind of details of, where that little mole is or whatever. So we squint, and we look left to right, and then we just sort of float in what we think is our best value to kind of go with that as that shadow edge, as that form turns. Okay, so, and you kind of use your paintbrush in the direction that you would think that would turn. And that's how I do some of these things. Let me know in the chat if you do the same, or if you don't paint at all and are just curious. Meantime, let's not get too distracted. Let us continue sort of getting in the big shapes here and seeing what's farthest behind. What's interesting here, maybe, to me, is, yes, we have this kind of, like you'll see I'm blur my eyes down and I squint as much as I can and still see the big shape. So I see a tonal value that needs to go like that, something like that. Look at this the dark of the canvas that I've left behind. We got to see where and how that's all shifting. So we'll find a value that kind of works, and then we'll pull the value across, blur it in, and then again, this is going to be too dark, and this might be too light. So let's find something that kind of matches the edge of that boundary. And it's the same idea when you're painting with oil paint. You're mixing a color, or I should say value, because color is, in my sort of, in the lineage that I trained in, color is relative. It's not relative. I mean, it's always relative in any lineage, I would argue, but color takes a back seat in my lineage to tone. Okay. So tonal value, meaning the distance between darkest dark or lightest light, and where on that spectrum that particular brush stroke or value falls. That's what we're paying attention to. Okay. Now, moving along. When I squint, I don't even see this hint of light that comes through this halftone here. So let's, not worry so much about it. All right. So, yeah, we could go crazy on the neck right now, but we're not going to do that. Faye Helmet. Hello. First time chat. We have Faye Helmet at Twitch, everyone. Nice to see you. How are you? We've got somewhat of a lively chat, but I haven't heard back from everybody how they're doing. Faye? Fi? What's going on? What brings you here? Finally, a good flippin' artist. Whoa. Faye, that's high praise. You're talking to the right person. In fact, note to self, Gordon Ramsay coming up next. Not next, but soon. We're going to do Gordon Ramsay. Probably my favorite reality TV show is Kitchen Nightmares. You could have killed somebody. I love it. Well, thank you. That's kind praise. And thanks for stopping in. And as always, if you want to see more, you could follow my channel here. I'm also on YouTube, and I have an Instagram. All of these things should be linked. But I really want to get more people chatting about art and all of that. And what I'm also trying to do is not get too distracted by the chat, even though I love art and talking about art. And talking about specifically how I do art, because I was taught this funny technique. Not funny, it's a very serious technique. And I like to share how it's done. And if you or anyone you know wants to talk about art and how this particular kind of art is done, stick around, because we're going to do all kinds of things. But for now, thank you. And feel free to chat or hang or lurk or whatever. Let's look at this nice value here. I found something like that, and it sort of, we're going to float the top of the eye just so. Okay, I don't know if that was the right place. My guess is that I went too high there. Okay, so we'll have to fix that later. But I'm looking for a basic value that kind of will live and do the job next to that highlight on the eyebrow. So I'm not much into TV. The device that all my grandparents watch is such an extreme extent that I have to fight for their attention. Wait a minute. Watched such an... Okay, so that your grandparents watch extreme amounts of TV. Is that where you watched Gordon Ramsay, Kitchen Nightmares, or what? I mean, is it what? I'm just so curious why the Gordon Ramsay reference, because it's rare that you come across somebody that would just casually fire off at Gordon Ramsay reference. I'm one of those people. The other one that he says that I like is, what is it? I ate here. Like when he finds out the extent of how filthy the restaurant is. I ate here. You could have killed somebody. Anyway, sorry. I think it's a decent Gordon Ramsay impression, but. So, thanks for sharing. Let's find our golden value at the top of the forehead here. So I see a Minecraft. So anyway, I'm Faye. I do cardboard prop design, cool, and pixel art. What? And graphic design badly, and I'm doing good right now. What about you? Faye, thank you for all that. So cool. I can't wait to check out your streams. Do you stream on Twitch? I love pixel art. So rarely. Okay. But you create content. Or you create, you're an artist, but you also sometimes share your art on the web, I'm assuming. I don't know. I might pick up the pace since I bought some stuff in my favorite game. And I usually stream games, but I don't know. Well, that's awesome. I stream games myself. Great. All right, I will check it out. Normally I would say drop a link in the chat and, maybe people will. But maybe you could spell out the link in the chat so people could check it out. The reason I say don't put a link in the chat is because I learned recently that the way Twitch works is like people drop links in the chat and then some unsuspecting person. Anyway, it's just supposedly it's not good form to put links in the chat. Not that I don't trust you, but I just feel like maybe people wouldn't want to click a link in the chat. Who knows? All right, so anyway, that's awesome. I stream video games on here from time to time. Wait, what? Faye, that's okay. That's okay. I mean, I didn't even know it was a problem. I'm just saying maybe people won't click it. So, no problem. Okay, so yes, I went too high in my... I went too high up with my eyebrow here, so let's fix that. Not gonna cut it. No. That's tricky. Eyebrows are always tricky. So can you tell me more about your Gordon Ramsay quote? Is that like something that he says, but like a good flippin' artist about like one of the chefs that he's sampling or something? I love that stuff. So we're squinting down, we're taking a look, we're flicking our eye back and forth, and we are trying to see the forest for the trees. I only know about Gordon Ramsay through the memes. Okay, cool. What is that with period? Yes, right. Oh, really? Okay, I don't. Sorry. So Faye Helmet is talking about how you spell out links, and it's okay. We'll move on. So I replaced the swear with flippin', and replaced food with artist. Thank you. Okay, cool. I received a comment on YouTube. If anyone, if user Julia G, I think it is, from YouTube is out there watching, I received a comment on YouTube recently, and it struck me because I didn't really. It was such a particular sort of turn of phrase. They gave some really generous, kind feedback to one of my streams, and then I Googled what the, where did that come from? This phrase was very demure, very mindful. And I Googled that because I was like, I don't even really know what demure means in this context, or like, what. It was just, I liked the phrase. And it turns out that there's a TikTok streamer it was a TikTok meme, yes. And I was like, wow, I love memes as much as the next, 45-year-old, but I'm not as up on the memes as I probably could be. So it was just cool to know that somebody referred to me using a meme. I was honored. And I liked the vibe of the TikTok streamer who says very demure, very mindful, very funny to me. Okay. Yes, thank you. All right, so let's find this. We're working our way toward a kind of finished, not finished, but at least a head that is so like there's our dark, let's get our light. We want the head to be somewhat organized. Before we move into the nether worlds. Speaking of things on the head that could use some more organization. Gosh, I've got some kind of allergy thing. Maybe it's like fall allergies. Okay, something like this. Plop in some grays in the hair. Let's zoom out and take a look. Okay. Look at the bottom of the chin here. This is something you don't want to neglect for too long, because as I've found time and time again, all right, we can fill in here with some kind of a value. Well, no, you know what? Let's be specific. When I was a student of art, which is forever and always, I guess, but when I was really literally at an art school, I learned, hold on a second, Faye Helmet says, I don't really post my art anywhere anymore. Instagram is training their AI. Tumblr is toxic. And Twitter is even more toxic. Oh my God. And they're training Google's AI. LMAO. Laugh my bleep off. Fair enough. I'm going to say something that's probably very unpopular, but I don't care if Well, here, I don't really believe what I'm about to say, but I'm going to say it and you convince me otherwise. I don't care if the robots want to use my paintings to train their AI. Prove me wrong. Convince me otherwise. Just kidding. But whatever. I mean, I think I understand why. But for me, maybe it's because well, I don't know. I won't get into why I think I'm not that concerned about it. But I'd like to know why it's a big concern for you. Because maybe I'm like completely undervaluing the horror of AI. And then Faye Helmet just unfollows and never returns again. But let's just, I'm playing devil's advocate, if you wouldn't mind letting me know what your thoughts are there. All right, so over here, we're going to hit an accent. Whoa, that was weird. Oh man, Crow's Feet City. We've got crow's feet, and that's all. Boom. That wasn't quite right what I just did there, but we'll rise above it. I heard somewhere that Tumblr was less toxic than many others, or at least that it's less of a kind of, I don't know. It's just so sad to me that these things have to be so toxic. Because I have rights to my art. You cannot care as much as you'd like, and I don't blame you, but I want to protect my art and other people's art. Cool. Yeah. My problem is I use AI a lot, for like, I don't know, just anything, learning things. And so, and I actually, one of the problems is I spent about 2 or 3 months with a Midjourney account, and I was like, whoa, cool, you could do this, you could do that, and it was like funny and exciting. And then I just stopped doing it because for some reason it was like a toy that you just get bored of, because you know what it is, you know what it does, and it doesn't satisfy you. The images failed. Like, once you know what it does, you're kind of like, oh, well, okay, then what? And that was kind of my Midjourney journey. Okay, I'm going to find this here. But on the other hand, there are people making a buck off of like the class action, like there are people making a buck off of, art. But I think that there will always be kind of a market for, like, if anything, like real painting, real art, physical art will become like more valuable, I think, because people like, it's like when Spotify or whatever, you know, streaming music came out. It just felt like, you know, artists realized like we better put on a good show, you know, because like we better, you know, make the live performances interesting. So I guess I'm not trying to argue. I just think it's there's a lot of things to, yeah, I mean, I hear the other sort of side of the spectrum there. All right, now, speaking of spectra, can we get a value here and a value there? Something like that. Unless you start comparing AI to photography. Yeah, photography is trouble too. I've been a photographer. Like even the video stuff is starting to get to a point where I'm like, uh-oh. I don't know. Like there have been a couple of times recently where I've been like, whoa, cool. And then I realized I'd been duped. And I thought that would never happen to me. You know, I was like, oh, I've got like, my eye is, you know, trained to know the difference. This is like in the movie Dune when, anyway, I digress. Let's find our highlight inside the corner of the eye. Let's find this is all very lovely highlight stuff around here. Let's not get it wrong. So I'm zooming out. Sorry, I know it's hard to see at this distance, but I do this so that I can see both the subject and the painting at the same time. I'm going to squint, take a look, and then find out, okay, where and why is this edge doing what it's doing? Where and why can I find this value over the ear? And then shuttle in this. Okay. Here, another huge distraction going on right now is, wait a minute. Okay. Let's try this. Flicking our eye back and forth and just laying that tone into the forehead there. Probably not exactly in the right spot, no problem. Take a deep breath, take another look, something like this. We want a darker value, and no. Also, as a pixel artist, I get the zooming in and out a lot. Yeah, well, certainly, hang on a second, where's my, Yeah, sometimes like if I have to get into the eyes, I go a little nutty and zoom all the way into the pixel level. But I've also done some pixel art, particularly like making. I'm like a child of the 1980s, and I love playing those old Nintendo games. And I've made some t-shirts in the past using like artwork from those games. Don't tell Nintendo. I think we've got to get a value going here. To just carve in here. Something like that. Oh boy. So, I'm a little scared that I'm going to walk into the other room during my next break, which will come up in 3 minutes, and I'll see that my time lapse is not working. If that happens, that's okay. So, if it does happen, so be it. But it would be disappointing because that's happened to me a couple of times recently. On your Instagram right now. Faye, thanks for stopping in. Let me know what you think. I think for people watching the stream, the Instagram is linked, certainly from Twitch. It might also be linked from YouTube. Let's plop this in here. What was it called? GeoPinocchio. Yes. Yeah, so that's maybe on my, what is that on? Yeah, that's on my art one. Yeah, that is a client who had this great idea for a sticker, and so I did that. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed that. I don't know if you can still buy the stickers, but we might have gotten rid of the store. That was crazy because I started going around on Twitter trying to like find out places to promote the sticker. So that was not fun. I don't like Twitter. I mean, I get it, and it certainly gets the blood boiling, but it was a bit scary. I'd rather not get into all that. Okay. Let's stick to the painting and, not the politics, I guess. Politics is painting. Painting is politics. I tend to be less of the kind of artist who's trying to like make a statement. I think maybe I am making a statement. I like the craft of it. and I don't really care to, I don't know. I like building things out of light and shadow, and I don't really care if it means anything, but I know that people use art for all kinds of things. Felt. Yeah. Well, thank you. So if you stick around, I'm guessing this one, what I think I'm going to do is finish this series. And by series, I mean like Keith, and maybe do Lester, probably do Dennis Murphy, all the Dateline hosts. Get them done. And then hold on. And then when they're done, I'm going to move on to a kind of another project. Whoops. Because, hang on, this is tricky stuff here. Anyhow, so feel free to drop ideas about the next kind of, who would be a good subject for a little portrait tutorial. Let's see what's going on here up in the hairline. Oops, I should zoom in for that. Yep, something like that. Whoops. All right. What is that icon you've put up there? Some kind of a food product? Okay, where are we? We're going to zoom out. Yeah, let's grab this. You may, yeah. I don't know what the protocol is. I just, am I wrong that on this platform people don't click links? I'm going to take a break for a moment. Okay, and that's going to mean we'll zoom in here. So everybody can see Dennis's grill. How's that? That looks nice. Okay. Yeah, you can tell when it's like a bot link, right? So let's take a break. And the way I'll do this, I think, is with Photoshop. Because before, hang on, where are we? Okay, V. Back in 10. But let's not just do any color for our break. Let's do blue. And then we'll raise the back in 10. Oh boy. This is much more work than I'd intended. We need the, oh boy. Oh my goodness. All right, here. Back in 10. We'll head over to our paragraph. And then we'll, oh boy. Full screen mode is no fun, but you gotta do what you gotta do. Ugh. Dreadful. Now what? Back in 10? Let's do the 10. Yeah. Now I hear you about the scams. Let's do the 10 in this sort of a hot, not a hot pink, but a, oh, forget it. Yeah, let's do hot pink. Come on, that's cool. That's weird. I wanted a little more centering. I mean, can you believe how much time we're wasting in my break just doing this stupid graphic? Oh boy. But you know what that'll do? That'll help me. Yeah, definitely. That'll burn your eyes. Okay. That's a terrible graphic. Looks good on my display here. All right, I will be back in 10. So that means 18, 11, 18. All right. Thanks for stopping in. Stick around. All right, we're back. Nice. I checked out your Instagram just for a split second there and saw the pizza robot, but also in particular another. I think it was a different one, but the claws were incredible. That's good stuff. My son will also appreciate seeing that. Nice work. I liked in the background of one of the videos I saw, I heard the Jupiter song. Is that what it's called? All right. But thanks for the follow all around, and I'll look forward to seeing more stuff. Okay. Let's get back to business here. We're going to get our paintbrush again. And let's center up. Take a look. All right. Now, I think it's clear that we got to have some more cools. Well, what's more clear is that I kind of went heavy-handed under the lip here. And let's straighten that out. We sure eat a lot of pizza in this household. Now, do you ever do like commissioned costumes and stuff like that? I've been challenged by my son wants to be Super Shredder for Halloween. Shredder is easy. Super Shredder is not. Actually, none of them are going to be easy, but easier to find on Amazon, to put it that way. So, and I'm not like a 3D builder type. So, that's my first move, is to go to Amazon. But I bet you a costume like that would take a long time, like the ones that you have on there. You got a lot of planning that you have to do. And yep. Okay, let's get this. I like that. I mean, I love that song. That was it like an 1800s, late 1800s classical piece, Jupiter. I learned about it from watching Bluey, the cartoon. There's a great episode. It's a real tearjerker. All right, let's see, Joshy. Can we get this? Whoops. No. I went way too heavy-handed there. Blur it back. Hang on. We're good. Okay. Josh A. So this is a tricky moment for me because I'm so like hung up on, sometimes I get real hung up on accuracy. And I just want to make sure that I don't go, I don't know. Here's where I go in here and get a little zany. Grab this one. Grab this one. Chill. Dun 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 dun. No. Let's find exactly how this chin drops down and to where. This will all blur in together, so if we get it wrong, it's not a big deal, right? Not bad. Look at the highlight. Look at the gray under the chin. Like, I'm leaving canvas there, but I really shouldn't. I should hit that with a value that's appropriate. Something like that. Not quite. Let's hit this one and drag a little value down. Drag some of this. Jun, 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 jun. Jun, 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 jun. Something like that. There's also like these nice light edges here. So let's do our plumb down. Okay, I was just getting distracted. I was getting up in my head. Let's try to stay in the Josh Mank mind stream. So, eyes flicking back and forth. we can start to see where that highlight lives, where this highlight lives. Something like that. All right, where are we? Is there a big delay on? And then we'll head over to. So, where are we? What are we doing? Question is, what's next? I'm dilly-dallying. So let's not do that. Let's find a nice value here to feed into. Let's get our zoom appropriate resolution here. Something like that. Yes, you missed it. I was asking questions about your costumes on Instagram, but those are very cool. I didn't see a lot of them, but I did get a chance to see the pizza robot, and I really enjoyed that. I love the sound on that little reel. Do you do costumes like that ever on commission? Like, do people ever like want you to do a costume like that? I would think they would. No? Well, I mean, I would imagine the price would be a little much, but not a little much, but prohibitive, cost prohibitive, because that, I know that takes forever to do that kind of work. I had the time and ungodly amount of energy to do that, I would. I see. Fair enough. I mean, yeah, exactly. And plus, yeah, I'm with you. The pizza suit? Yeah, no doubt. That's it's a lot of. That's not something that you just, you'd need to charge in the thousands for that kind of thing. Yeah, no, I'm sure. Many hours. What do you have on tap for Halloween, or are you doing the Halloween thing? Uh-oh. I don't like that. I'm going to have to let that one play out, ring out. Need to charge a lot, but it wouldn't be worth it for the customer because it's cardboard and it could break very easily. Yeah. Right. Yeah, I hear you. Let's grab. Let's get in here. I don't need to be so sort of wimpy about this, but I'm gonna do it. Be a little wimpy, and then we're gonna zoom to our 100, and then you just need to grab and pull. Okay, it's a little scary, I know. But then once you have a basic idea for where that accent lives, come on, give me that. Give me that gray. Something like that. Zoom out, take a look. Then let's find a value that kind of sits between okay, something like that. We see Josh start to come into focus. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm sort of finally settling into a kind of what's surprising to me about this is that this is really changing the way I look at painting. There's something about the digital medium that's like just change. I don't know, sort of changing the way I think about painting and putting marks down. So, yeah, and I think it's liberating in some ways because it's like, wow, when I go back to my when I go back to my oils, I'm thinking I'm going to be a better painter because this is like sort of showing like this is what some painters do, you know, like I don't know how to explain it. It's like I've always been cautious as an oil painter to like not put marks down because it's like, oh, and then if it's wrong and then it smudges and all this. And so I build up layers very cautiously, and it's really not fun. I'll be totally honest with you. I've never really had fun painting the way I do here. And I think to myself, I can do that with oil paint. I just need to like put more paint on the brush and like be fearless. Because what's the big deal? You know, it's just a canvas, right? I mean, it costs a lot of money to buy a canvas, but so anyway, I think you're gonna see, if you stick around, you're gonna see more and more art streams with different media. It has its own limitations though, like the undo button. What do you mean? How is the undo button a limitation? I would think that's kind of a source of freedom. Or say more about how that's a... Oh boy, now I'm getting... Now I'm getting into the scary part. I don't know where I am. Faye says, the undo button is a bit of a double-edged sword because it can undo anything you do, but in some programs it only goes back a certain number of times before it stops, or in other programs it can't redo something after you do a new action. It can't redo something. Yeah, it's funny. I have a rule where I don't let myself do any undos because I want to keep it. Like if I get myself into a mess, I'm going to get myself out of it. That's not strictly true because I have used the undo. But if it's like something that's just a total, you know, just, I don't know. I forget when I've done it. I've done undo for sure. But yeah, I try to hold myself to like, if you mess up, fix it, and then therefore you'll learn how to fix stuff. Like that. I pulled the halftone in and around, and now I'm just going to smush it back in and see how bad it is. How bad is the damage? Assess. So... where were we? We had some stuff going on up here. And let's try it. We'll just pull an edge up and around. Pull an edge up and around. You can also use layers, like one giant undo button, by drawing a concept on one layer and deleting it if you don't like it. Totally. Yeah, like a couple of days ago, I was working on another portrait in this series, and I, at the end of my 3 hours, I was like, well, let's go take a look at the time lapse. And I had not, the recording was working, but what happened was Photoshop had an update where the second window, like, I don't know if you're familiar with this, but if you want to do like a time lapse, you have to have a second window going that doesn't zoom in and out, and that's your time lapse one. And so, long story short, for some reason there was a bug with the new update, and I'd updated my software or unwittingly updated the software and didn't know that it could no longer detect each brush stroke. So I was just like, oh my God, my time lapse, why wasn't it working? And that was a serious bummer at first. And then when I just erased it and I was like, forget it. Let's just do another session. It was like, actually, it was like something that I would probably freaked out about if it was in a real painting. But it just kind of like made me realize, like, if you can do it once, do it again. And I don't think that way usually. I'm always like, oh God, like all that work, like, and there was something about it that was like, oh, I can do it again. Like, I don't know. So that was kind of a fun realization. So here, I'm going to try and get this nice value here and just get a little bit of a, it would be nice to get this correct. And again, so I'll flick my eye back and forth when I'm zoomed out, and basically I want it around here. Something like that. Let's get a light. Well, whatever. We can fix it, right? Let's fix this. Some kind of a value like this. Yeah, so that's basically what I did, was I just dumped the layer and started again, making sure the time lapse was working. Okay. Ba-ba-ba-ba-bum. All right. Da-da-da-da-da. I'm getting distracted. Don't do it. Okay. It's a speed paint. Yes, what do you mean share it? Like a link to it? You can share whatever you want, no problem. Okay, very good. I will definitely check it out when I'm at a resting place. Some 2-year-old. Oh, like art from 2 years ago. That's cool. All right, let's see here. We're going to get this one down there. Okie dokie. Look what I see happening here. What is it? What do I see? Yes. Yeah, I don't want to make you feel nervous or anything, you know. You should Discord me, and then, you know, I use Discord for like I do some speed runs sometimes, and there's a really great community of Zelda 1 speedrunners that kind of got me started on all this stuff, to be honest. Like, I was just seeing like, well, what's the Zelda 1 speed run like? Yeah, cool. You might be able to find me on there using my screen name. I don't know. I don't even know how all that works yet. I just somehow was like, oh, okay, click this link. And so, yeah, definitely. I'll add you on there. But also feel free to, you know, chat up the chat, because, like, you know, I think we're the only ones here, but I don't know. I don't think the more lively that chat is, in my opinion, the better. All right, so we got work to do. What's going on with his bridge of nose? We're just going to feather away this stuff here. Great. Okay, you found me? Cool. That's what I meant. Yeah, same name. That's awesome. Thank you. And we got to blur these edges. Get the right brush strokes. Blur them. I'm going to get in here and try and move some of those edges up and around, something like that. Joshy. So look, see this, like the light to the left of his eye here? I have it so much darker than it is. I'm sorry. It is so much darker than I have it. So let's put in a lighter value. Whoops, not like that, folks. And then Oh, I was also saying about your Pizzium video. I love the audio play there. And I wanted to know if you are into that, like that Jupiter song, or was it just something like, because I only learned about that song recently. Song, I don't know if that's the right word, but it's a composition, right? And it's a whole suite of like space things by some 1800s composer, right? Jupiter. Oh, yes, that's correct. Crick East. I was saying that in your Pizzium video, I noticed a song, the Jupiter song, that was like is new to me. I learned about it this year. And I love that song. Where did you get the idea to post that one that way, and or whatever? Is that a song you always known? Or did it pop up when you were like making the... How did you decide to go with that? That was cool. A voice actor made the voice lines. Yes, okay. That's awesome. And that was someone who's different from the actor playing the despondent existential crisis character. Yeah, the song. Yeah, I like the whole shtick. I got to be careful here on the forehead because there's the highlights above and below, and a lot of these need to be... This whole thing really needs to be blurred. The Jupiter song, man. I learned about that by watching Bluey. There's a really cool episode called... what's it called again? Dream something, maybe? Let me try and get this. We gotta fix that hairline, boy. Let's do it. I tell you. Let's get this coming down this way. I was also saying we eat a lot of pizza in our household. Never too much, but sometimes more than enough. All right. Yeah. That's great. Very cool. I'm going to now pop in these tones in the jacket. Some of them. I'm going to extinguish this dark value here. I was just one of the people who used the sound. Oh. Right. And did you make the costume before seeing the video, or did the video inspire the project, or was it just like luck that audio was available, or was it created for your purposes? Or was it just like a meme that you wanted to? Wow. So it was like just coincidental. Wow. Oh boy. Okay. Let's find out where and why this value goes there. Let's find where and why we have to have this thing living here. Yeah, it was. And a mutual of mine on TikTok tagged me in it. Cool. Nice. Let's do this hairline here. Like, what's going on? Why are we... That's a tough one. I don't know. I don't know where it's going to blur, but I'm just going to put something there. Eesh, scary. Scary, scary. Now something like this. For our darks. Okay, we're going to plop that in. All right, Faye. Thanks for hanging out. Enjoy. Take care. And see you next time, maybe. Hopefully. Dare I caution a guess at what you're having for dinner? Pizza. Whoops. Well, that might be okay. I don't know. See you later. So we're going to start bringing some of these values down into the jacket. And then we're going to figure out what's going on in the corner of the nose here, the nose wing. Is that the Nasenflügel? Oh. Just get in here and chop it in. Chop it up. Okay. Let's hit this. Okie doke. We're zoomed out and we're taking a look. And actually, I'm going to take a break again. So, but this time instead of taking a break, come on. Full screen mode. Oh, layer mode. Back in 10 should actually say. Oh boy, look at how long it takes. I just want to take a break. The type layer is locked. Of course it's locked. Let's call it back at 12:15. 15 Eastern Standard. Now I'm eating into my precious break here. Oh boy. Back at. Let's do this. Let's do. Back. That's kind of nice, right? Yeah, fine. That's fine. Oh, my break. Look, it's just. The sooner I get this thing done. Back at 12 Eastern. Oh man, but come on. Is it just me or is that not centered? Oh God, come on. Well, there it is. Back at 12 Eastern. All right, we'll see you in a bit. 12:15 Eastern. Hey Siri. Set my alarm for 12:15 Eastern. Okay. Whoa. That's my alarm. New alarm sound. I didn't know that I had that sound on from. Oh, that's what it is. It's an alarm. All right, we're back. Is my sound on? Can I get rid of this thing here? Let's lock that layer. Okay. So here we are. We're sort of in the last stretch here for the day. I like to make sure I take enough breaks. My hope was to kind of, finish up the head, or at least get sort of a complete statement on the head, which I think we've done reasonably well. Or, yeah, so. Now, this is the part of the day when I make my pitch, my marketing pitch, to just, not a pitch, but just to say, hey, did you like this stream? Follow. Give a subscribe or a follow. Or hit the like button, share, all of those good things. I appreciate it. I also appreciate the chat. So go ahead and chat me on the live chat on YouTube or Twitch, Facebook, wherever we're doing this, because I want to keep doing things like this, and I want to just get an idea of who's interested, who wants to come back. It helps me know if what I'm doing is helpful to anyone. Thank you. In the meantime, we're going to try to finalize, I guess. Not finalize, but just get a... Whoops. Make a final statement here. Okay. One thing I did not really mean to do was drag all this stuff out and to the left. We didn't need to have all that be dragging. So I'm going to drag it in, drag it out. I don't know. We're going to have to deal with it at some point. Top of eyebrow here. Feed in some of this coloring here. Make sure we can hit some of these. I think we've got them, but I snoozed my alarm. Here's another one that I think we could all benefit from seeing. Look at this. Nice highlight on the eyebrow. See how it sort of wends its way through the eyebrow. Probably needs to do more of that. Wending. Like over here. Who knows? We'll fix it later if we have to. Okay. Also going to take care of some of the hanging edges, the loose edges here in the ear. Okay. Just put a little mark there for the ear. Let's put a shadow edge that wraps around this way, so after our session today, I am going to be setting up potentially a new session with the idea of keeping myself not getting sort of overdone on these portraits. Like, I don't want to overdo it on any single portrait. So let's see if we can achieve a little variety there. Holy moly moly. We're gonna put in some of these darks. I've got a reflection on my screen, which is a little unnerving. But wait, what was that? Okay. Let's get this sort of dark edge to appear. And now there's a highlight in the hair here too. Where was it? Over here? Yeah, always my favorite part. These little flicks of highlight in the hair. Real fun. Real fun. The worst. The worst. And now we'll hit a little highlight over here. Make sure that floats in there properly. Okay. All right. Well, could be worse, but could also be better. Ooh. Okay, let's stop the alarm now. Given that we've got let's see. Okay, so what shall we do here? I kind of like how things are coming along. Definitely there's more work to be done. Let's find out if this, yeah, like here. Let's, basically I'm just going to clean up any low-hanging fruit on the head here before we wrap up for the day on this portrait, okay? So just take a little hint of that. How about, like, what's going on here is vague somewhat, but let's something like that. Something like that. Okay. What about this area under the chin here? We've talked about how when you squint, you don't really see that line of light that carves through, but we do see on either end, there's this sort of warm value. So let's make that connection. And then also, if we look, flick your eye back and forth, we can kind of ignore some of this. If we blur it and then blur back in a little bit, not too far. Okay, and then we'll, whoops. Oh boy. I knew this would happen. This happens every time. Oh, let's make just a clever brush stroke at the nexus of all the most difficult tones. And let's try and solve it with just one brush stroke, right? No, not going to happen. Here, over here. Something like that. See how that edge sort of carves in here? I don't know. Now I'm really going to start doing like overworking things if I'm not too careful. Not that I'm like going to leave it so brushy, but the problem becomes very quickly that I start to try and blur and make it look more and more like a photo and blah, blah, blah. We go down a rabbit hole. But all we're trying to do now is like make a finished statement with the head. And that's that for the day. Okay? So we're not going to do anything else, even if it's tempting. Even if we want to. We got to stay disciplined. Hard to do. And look, there's a nice middle value here. Let's find out if this edge of the ear could be here. Very important area here to get better. All right, let's just blur that edge. Right? That's what we want to do. And blur this edge. Okay, that's fine. I don't know. Let's not go crazy on shapes and anatomy there, because God knows it's wrong. And the more you try and get it right, the wronger it gets. So let's just leave this kind of calligraphy that we've been talking about. I'm trying to get these fancy, artsy, fartsy brush strokes. So, whoa. Was that too dark? I don't know. Probably. Now, is there anything here? Yes, there's a middle value that lives here. And we're gonna just give it some room. Okay. Ears. I'm getting a little quiet because this is a part of the day where I'll take advantage of this kind of zone. Because when you're in it, don't wake yourself out of it. Just keep it moving. If you start to see things that work, okay. Definitely find out why I've hit this highlight with a hammer. We'll hit it, we'll knock it back a bit if we can. So we'll zoom in and we'll pull, oop. Okay, that sort of accidentally backed into what I wanted to accomplish there. Sorry for all the bubbles here we drink enough Waterloo around here to fuel I don't know. There, we're going to pull this back and over. And then we're going to get a nice value here. Something like that. So I think for better and worse, it's just the way it is. We've got to figure out why like this corner of the eye, we never really got it. We're going to get it now. I mean, okay. Interesting. Like, look where I've left us adrift somewhat. Ugh. No, don't do it. Now I probably mucked up a layer. I don't know. I don't think this is as dreadful as I kind of imagined it was. This is a very sharp line here, and I can see that it needs to come out a bit more. So let's just do that. And what about this stuff's all interesting because now I start again, even though I said I was just going to finish what I started. I start going nutty and trying to fix things that I don't need to fix right now. Okay, so we're just going to figure out what's where. And like here. We're not really figuring anything out. All I'm doing is filling in areas of the canvas that I neglected. So, look at this nice area wherein we can see some highlights. Well, that was risky, but maybe it'll pay dividends later. Who knows? We're going to drag this up and away into the so something like that. I kind of like the expression. Eye on the right is drooping, a bit too mobster and not enough. I don't know. Jeez. God, if you'd seen that, that spooked me. That's where you need the undo button. If you know what I mean, when the tablet goes flying off the edge of the... All right, we're going to go across. Darks. I watched a fair amount of the film Salem's Lot last night. Ooh, boy. Spooky season is in full swing. Anyone with me there? I'm Josh Mankiewicz. Sort of proudly say that. Okay, what happened here? We're coming up on the 20-minute marker. Let me know if you see anything that's bugging you and needs fixing. And let me know in the chat. Whoa, there I am. I'm always checking in to see if there's anybody watching, lurking. Please lurk. And please hit that follow or subscribe or whatever. And that way, whenever I pop on, you'll see my schedule and whatever. I'm going to start putting this together a schedule. So, for right now, I think it's going to be helpful to get a little bit of a edge here. Go too artsy fartsy. But we want to show the background. And we want to find the edge here. All right, I'll pop a little something like that. Something like this. And then, I don't know about you, but I'm seeing an edge here that I don't have in my painting. That I think just slightly comes out more. Okay, there's that edge. And then let's find out why and if. Oh boy. Something like that. Now again, I'm fixing things that don't need to be fixed right now. Yes, they may need to be fixed, but not right now. So let's stop that. Don't be doing that. Here's the sort of thing that could use a fixin'. Like, why is that highlight so extreme? Is it because I don't know. Is it because I've neglected to fill in the darks? Is it, whoops, okay. Some kind of a greeny tone here. Okay. All right, we're getting into the weeds before our time is, I don't know, guys. Sometimes you just have to go into the weeds a little bit, even though, get in there. Okay, now, nostril. Important? Yes. Where is it? Again, this is what happens when you start to fix things too much. Don't do it. Let it be. Okay. Nice thing going on here with the sort of highlight region there. So there's lots of holes to fill here, and I see that. So are we going to do that today? Maybe not. But we can do it tomorrow. And we can certainly well, not I think we can sort of leave this brushy for now. We've got about 12 minutes. I'm going to put in the jacket shadow, whatever this is, the shoulder line, a little more edgy. Keep it mindful, keep it demure. Let's see here. How about something like that? Nice. Now, let's get our shadow edge, our blazer. How about that? Nicely done with the tie. Not me, but talking about the way he tied that knot. I don't think that's easy to do. You know, you got to make sure that knot gets tied right in the right spot. Okay. What else? Let's grab a tone. Nice white. Starchy. Starchy. Yeah. Nah. Don't go too far. Okay. Fine. Good. Looking okay. We've always known somewhat in the back of my mind here, I've always known it would be the ferns. No. I've always known it would be something here that's troubling. Oh boy, this is gonna happen. Okay, forget it. So, there we go. At least for the statement on the head. We definitely are seeing issues with the tip of the nose. But again, I think that's more of a kind of, did I do that wrong in the first place? Yes, so let's fix it. And then let's fix this one. And then let's fix this one. And all down the way until you've basically gotten yourself in a pickle again. All right, so for now, let's lay off fixing stuff. And we'll just get a little statement like, we don't need this. Why is this all so dark up here? You know? And by the way, call me out here. Just say, get rid of this thing, and I'll fix it. Because we only have 5 minutes left. If that. All right, we're getting into the crazy stuff again. We're in the zone. Zooming out, zooming in. Let's get reasonable distance. Definitely need to fix the mouth and all that. So in our last view, we're going to take a look yeah, so it's not a bad start. Definitely got him looking a lot more mean or sort of angry than he needs to be. But we'll get in there and hit some accents and fix some things. Right now, I'm not too worried. I don't want to get into a whole other can of worms right now. But I can fix some items, at least where there are items that need to be covered with have the canvas covered. Like the hairline. Boom. Try to get it. Get it and forget it. Let's put in a little highlight on the lower lip, just as a placeholder. I mean, I'm not going to forget where that goes, but and let's also try to blur this nice edge here. We're going to get back in there at some point and figure out where the eye is, where the eye stops, and all that. Okay. Unnecessary changes being made, but that's just because it's kind of fun to to move in and keep fixing stuff. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. So how about here? How about here? How about here? Okay. How about this nice swath of dark that comes down across here, and then our nice find out what lives there later. And then for fun, well, I think we've had enough fun. It's 3:02 on the clock, on the shot clock. I'm going to save my work here and do Josh V5. And then we're going to say goodbye. Please come back for the next one. And actually, if you're interested, I think I'll be back in an hour from like 2. If I can, I'm going to try to do that. So, sweet, and thanks for hanging out. And we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.